Okay, so now we're going to move into define our factor. Okay, couple of things. When you're actually trading sentiment data, there are a couple of things that you do need to pay attention to when you're actually designing your algorithm. The first thing is that not every day there will be sentiments, obviously, and for those days that doesn't have actually any sentiment, you don't want to actually have any signal generated unless you actually trade those stocks. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that you also want to avoid trading around the earnings announcement period. And the other thing that you want to avoid are those stocks that is being acquired or going to merge with somebody else or looking to actually buy another company. Those will actually basically affect the actual so-called performance of your stocks altogether. Obviously, if a stock is being acquired and the actual acquirer is looking to offer $10, what doesn't matter what sentiment comes through, the price is not going to move too far away from $10 because that really sets the actual floor of the price. It will just basically move around that price, then not very far at all. Okay, so okay, let me just copy these so-called notes here. Now there is actually a tutorial, a pipeline tutorial under Learn here. I've also have a tutorial video on my YouTube channel. You can actually go and visit and have a look at the pipeline tutorial that I have actually designed, just to walk through, get you up to speed very quickly. We're going to use EventVestor, the earnings calendar, to avoid trading around earnings announcement, and also the EventVestor's mergers and acquisitions to avoid all those trading acquisition target. Okay, we'll only look at the so-called period whereby the EventVestor is free. Okay, so let's go into the pipeline design itself. So we're gonna, first thing is import the Quantopian Pipeline and import pipeline, and from Quantopian research, and we're gonna import run pipeline. The first one is just to import pipeline itself, and the second one is to import the run pipeline function so that we can run this within the research environment or IPython environment that we are in right now. So the next thing is we do want to focus on specific sets of data, basically narrowing our universe. We don't want to trade all 8,000-9,000 stock tickers because we want to trade stocks that are liquid, okay, and that, you know, we don't want the bid-ask spread to eat away our profit. So we're gonna focus on a specific subset of the stock market, those that is liquid, those that is frequently traded, so that it doesn't cloud our signal at all. Okay, so filters, we're gonna import from Morningstar, import the Q1500 US. So this is the 1500 stocks in US that have large market capitalization and also traded very liquid and high volume being traded. We're gonna avoid so-called the ETFs. So let me just import this, bring this up so that you can actually Q1500 US. So this is the universe. Let me just put that over. Okay, so this is the tradable US methodology. It's designed by Gil. Why these? And basically what we're looking to do is to remove any sector bias, okay, and remove stocks in a robust manner until the desired number of securities in the universe have been selected. The other factors that's inbuilt, it needs to have high volume traded. It's a primary share. It's not a deposit receipt. Has substantial market cap, more than 300 million. It's a common stock. It's not traded over the counter. It's not just issued, meaning we don't want IPO. not a limited partnership, and on it goes. So that's really what the Q1500 US are, and it's already pre-designed. And this is actually what we just did here, is just to import them. Import the 1500 US here for our research purpose. Okay, the second thing is that we're gonna import the pipeline data, Psychsignal, import stock tweets. Okay, so these are the couple of things we're gonna import, but we also want to import. I'm not gonna type this. I'm just gonna copy and paste this across. So I already mentioned earlier, we're gonna import when is the next earning, okay, so that we can avoid trading around the earning announcement. And the other one is how many days since the previous earning. So basically we want to avoid the earning period. So how many days are we from the earnings and how many days since the last earning. And the other thing is that we want to filter out stocks that are announced as acquisition target. And the final one is business days since previous events. So if there are some sort of major events that occurred, we want to avoid those, because typically after major events, the stock's not going to trade much. It's just going to hang around for a while. So let's see, run pipeline. Oh, typo. Run pipeline. No module. Morningstar. Jeez, my horrendous typo. Okay, looks like I need to go back to school and learn typing. Okay, so that's that. Okay, the next one, having import all the libraries, we're gonna create the pipeline now. Okay, so the first one is we're gonna create a variable called sentiment factor, and we're just gonna use the stock tweets, bull minus bear. Okay, and also the latest value. And the next thing is we want to create a filter or mask, depending on how you use it. Not earnings announcement. Okay, so that means it's not. Okay, so that's what that stands for. Not business day until next earnings, so we want it to be not less than 2 days away. Okay, and the other operator we want to use is or. Business days since previous earnings. Okay, so here we want it to be 2 days. Okay, so in essence, what we're actually saying here is that we do not want to actually trade 2 days until the next earnings or 2 days since the earnings. So that's really what that filter is doing there. So the new info variable here is really business days since previous event. So we just want to make sure that there are some sort of sentiment signal that's being updated in the last day. We don't want to trade any that hasn't actually had anything that any signals that's come through. Okay, so stock tweets as of date and the latest one. Okay, so that means, okay, so has there been any signal that come through yesterday? If there is, okay, fine. If not, then we want to skip that altogether. So not announced acquisition target, and that means this is an announced acquisition target. Where is it? Is announced acquisition target. So those are the actual different filters. So the universe that we want to trade are these. First of all is the Q1500 US. So that's the first filter. The second filter is the sentiment factor. It's not null. I mentioned that earlier. We don't want it to be 0, or if it's null, then we're just gonna skip that. Otherwise, we're gonna get a nasty error. It's also not near earning announcement. Awesome typing here. Not near. Where is it? Not near. Okay, so the next one, and not an acquisition target, and the final is new information. Okay, so what have we done so far? We have select the universe, where is the 1500, large company, very liquid. Second thing is that we want the sentiment factor to have some sort of value. We're gonna avoid not the null, those with null value. We don't want to trade around earnings announcement. We want to make sure that this stock is not an acquisition target. And the last one is that there some sort of new information that has come through. And all of these, we're gonna store it into the pipeline variable called pipe. And we're gonna call our columns is equal to sentiment and sentiment factor, and we're going to rank these, but the mask is going to be universe, and the method is average. Close that, and the screen is going to be the universe. Okay, so, and we're going to return the pipe. So let's run this. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so doesn't seem like there's any error. So now we're going to store all the return result into the variable called result, and we're going to run pipeline. So the run pipeline is what we actually import here, and what we need to provide as parameters is this make pipeline. And the date that we want to run this. So the start date here is 2013, December 01, to the end date is 2014, December 01. So let's just run this. Hopefully there's no error. This may take a while to run depending on how much data is being returned. Okay, so let's come back. So we're gonna just print it out to see what kind of data that has been returned, and we're just going to use the panda expression head. Okay, good, the data has indeed been returned. Okay, and we get the different stocks come back as well for that date, 2013 December 2nd. Okay, so now that we have all these data returned, what can we do with it? That means how do you analyze whether there are some sort of signal in them? We're going to go into the next part now, and this basically wraps up how you actually do an extract and basically extract the data from the database using pipeline. The next step that we're going to do now is to actually analyze our factor, and to analyze our factor whether it does have any predictive power or not, we're going to make use of Quantopian alpha lens. Okay, so let's move on to that.